Today on Mid-Missouri Art News, we visit with artist Mrs. Anita Rogers, who will share what is happening in her art world. Welcome everyone to JCTV Mid-Missouri Art News, supported by many enthusiasts now in the art world throughout the world. It's coming to you today from the capital city of Jefferson City, Missouri. I'm your host, Rick Jey. Glad to have you with us. Well, if you will, join me in welcoming first artist Anita Rogers of Barnett, Missouri. JCTV Mid-Missouri Art News is honored to have you with us today, Mrs. Rogers. So welcome.
Well, thank you. I'm really glad to be here. This is exciting.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Anita, if I may call you by your first name.
Please do.
Please tell us a little bit about what makes up Anita Rogers.
Well, I am a mother, a grandmother, and even a great-grandmother. And art has been my hobby, and I've worked at it for 50 years. And my mother was an artist before me, and she begged me to do it when I was younger, and I had a lot of things in the world to do. And so then after she died, I started painting.
And where does this come from? Where was you reared, as they would say in Missouri?
Well, I was born in Mississippi,
Ah.
and then I moved to Lamar, Missouri, which was my mother's hometown.
I see.
And I graduated from there, and I went to Ozark Bible College in Joplin,
I see.
Missouri, and then I moved to Eldon and traveled around a little, and then settled back into Eldon, and then married my husband, moved to Barnett, out in the country.
Barnett, Missouri.
Yes, and so now I have a little art shop in Barnett, about a mile from the house, so I can paint at midnight if I want to.
Excellent. We're going to talk about that and give it a name here in a little bit.
Okay.
Would you like to say hello to anyone special?
Oh, to my family and
your
friends
family
and my
friends.
painting friends that come and paint with me all the time.
Right.
And
And
classes.
we're going to again talk about what's happening at this new location that we'll share with the viewers. Well, can you share with us, really from the heart, how you became inspired to become an artist and a craftsperson?
Well, I think it's always been in my heart, and it just seems like that every day you pick up something and you think, oh, I can make something out of this. As my family knows, I'm a hoarder when it comes to objects that I think I can use in art. And
Or craft,
I try to stay with my canvases, just so that but I do like to paint on glass.
Yes, and we're going to show some of those as on the timeline as we're visiting here at the round table. Now I noticed you sort of combine the artist concept with crafts. Now, do you separate those or do you combine those? How do you look at that?
I kind of combine them, but for a long time, crafts was more important than paintings. You know, people weren't as interested in your paintings as they are in the little. They can't afford them, you know, and little things they can, seems like. And but my heart's always in the canvas.
So if you want to buy a large canvas, 24 by 36, you might sell a few crafts and work the craft tables to make.
So you can buy the canvas.
You can buy the canvas, yes. I understand.
Or the frame.
Or the frame, especially.
Yes.
Well, excellent. So you was inspired, basically, and we talk about, with our guests, we go clear back, one gentleman described it, going back clear to the days of the caveman. And someone in that cave was inspired to draw on these cave walls. We know that for a fact.
Yes.
And also his story goes, you know, this gentleman says, well, you know, I love to do these things on the wall. You all go out and hunt and kill, and we'll have a meal tonight. And I'll make sure I get some artwork on this cave wall while you're gone, and earn my meal. So
I've painted on a few walls.
So I guess sometimes we even talk about it being in our DNA.
I think it is.
Like, so many sort of born with it, and you're inspired. I know I share a lot that drawing on the bedroom walls at 3 years old or so, and the people who rented the house on the farm or in a small town in Missouri, they left those drawings on the walls for years. I guess they must have looked fairly good at 3 years old, or they wouldn't have left them, or they didn't decide to paper. I don't know. But anyway, we seem like it's some part of our DNA, or
I think so.
Whatever. Well, what are your favorite mediums and subject matter in that, for a matter of fact, in your arts? In your crafts?
Well, it started out in oils, which will always be one of my passions, but I switched over to acrylics because for the health reason.
I see.
You know, acrylics are so much, and they're faster to dry, and you can varnish them and sell them the next day if you want to, where an oil, you've got to wait a while, and I don't know, it just seems that and I do like watercolors. And I've done just about all the mediums, but acrylics, it just seems faster and compatible to what I'm doing.
Right.
You know, I can paint 15 minutes and walk away, let it dry or not dry, and come back.
Yes. And we'll be letting the viewers look at some of these watercolor and acrylic and bottles, and etc. And we'll talk about those in a little bit. Well, do you have any projects now as far as your artwork? It's in process, upcoming events that you'd like to talk about and inform our viewers of?
Well, we're having an open house at the new place on the 13th and the 14th, a Friday evening and a Saturday. And we've got some other art people that are coming, craft people too, and we're just going to serve refreshments and set up and let anybody come in and enjoy it.
So this is in Barnett, Missouri, at the junction of
AA and 52.
And 52 highways.
Yes.
And the name is Painters at Heart. And in this shop, as we're showing here on the timeline, a picture of the shop. It's a cozy little shop inside and out. And you offer so much. So give us an idea of what's going on at this time. You have a grand opening. Give us that date again.
The 13th and the 14th of December. And it'll be the evening of Friday and then Saturday. And at this shop, I teach painting classes. We have tea parties and paint parties, just get-togethers. And this morning we had breakfast. We have, on Wednesday morning, we're serving breakfast to the community, trying to get them to come in and get to know your neighbor. Yes, and I've really been enjoying it.
Now, what's the population of Barnett, Missouri at this time?
200, I think, 201 maybe.
201.
I mean, that is just the downtown part of,
That's the census?
Yes.
Last census.
Yes.
Census. Now, I can relate to that. The town I'm from was 199 for probably 40 years. I don't know how that, people came in, people came out, but 199. So if you're familiar with Barnett, Missouri, it's a small spot in the road, but a lot of friendly people, a lot of people attempting to, should we say, survive and bring what they can to the community. So Barnett, Missouri, not only the farmers, the cattlemen, but then you have somewhat of no industry, I guess, exactly.
Right. It's just outside of Eldon and for sales.
It's a unique place that you can drop in, like she says, have this coffee and breakfast and get to know people and admire the works throughout the cottage. Is more like a cottage.
It is.
but it's Painters at Heart. There's parking, and so we invite you to drop in anytime. Now, if they want to get directions, what's the best way to get directions?
If you want to, I guess what you call Google it in, it's 107 Locust Street.
107 Locust Street.
But it's, if you go down Highway 52 from Eldon going toward Versailles, you'll see it when you hit Barnett, when you have to slow down to go through the town.
And you'll see AA going north, and look to the left, and there's the...
And it's on the south side.
Painters at Heart.
Or the right-hand side going toward Versailles.
Right.
So.
Well, it's an honor to bring someone from a small community, not only from a small community, but with your years of expertise and, should we say, experience that you bring to Painters at Heart. And so it's an honor. Sometimes we miss out on the artists on a small, it's a large scale, but sometimes the geographics don't align with the artist of the 50 years experience. So when you're going to visit Painters at Heart, you're getting more than just walls of paint. You're getting experience. As you see, Mrs. Rogers is very conversational, and so you're going to probably be able to start a conversation. Well, Anita, we must take a short break because I'm excited about talking about some of these paintings. So hang loose for a few seconds. When we come back, Anita shares with us her passion as a business lady and owner of Painters at Heart. Stay with us. There's a lot more here in Mid-Missouri Art News.
Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Welcome back to JCTV Mid-Missouri Art News. I'm your host, Rick Jey, and I continue our discussion with Mrs. Anita Rogers of Barnett, Missouri. Well, Mrs. Rogers, you are really a busy lady with a lot going on in your life, as explained before the break. Not only active in community affairs, I understand, but also you own and operate a business, as we spoke about, known as Painters at Heart in Missouri, the city of Barnett. And that's at junction AA and 52 highways. So please, if you would, or try to take an in-depth look at what's happening at Painters at Heart. Please share with the viewers, what is Painters at Heart, basically?
It's a place to come and paint and to learn new details, new techniques, and we have parties where we just have fun, or you can come and really dive deeper into the techniques and stuff that you need to learn to do certain kinds of paints. And I like to teach one-on-one, and I like to teach up to 10.
I see.
So I don't teach as many of the big classes as I did years ago.
Right.
But I love teaching. I love teaching other people to do it.
And you've been doing this 50 years.
Yes.
As a great-grandmother or grandmother or what have you, so you still have time and make a use of those senior years.
My husband calls it a playhouse.
A playhouse. Oh, I see. I can probably understand that that description. Well, how would you define the mission from your heart of Painters at Heart? Well,
if you love art, you know, it is in your heart. And I had a shop before that was Keepsake Cottage in Eldon for years.
Yes.
But when I started calling myself Painters at Heart because we were doing craft shows and stuff.
Yes.
And then when I went to Barnett, there's a little trim on top of the house with a little metal trim, and it's probably the only one that's got the full trim in Barnett left.
I see.
And it has hearts in it, and I was so excited when I saw that, because then I could continue with the thought of Painters at Heart.
I see. It's very well symbolized in those
Yes,
words. Yes,
red roof and all.
So your mission is basically to
Enjoy art, to love it.
show others how to enjoy art.
Yes.
Share it with others. It's an automatic love. Just showing up maybe for the class, the conversation. And,
You don't have to be talented to paint. I
Exactly.
tell people that all the time, because it's what you want to do and what you like to do.
And a lot of times we're surprised at our.
It's how
as a
much you
beginner,
can do,
at
yes,
how much
once you
can do.
learn.
If you have a good instructor, anything we attempt, it seems to make a difference. And
I think you see life different when you paint.
Yes.
Because you see light and shadows, and you see things that you've never seen before. And once you start painting, I think it opens your eyes to the beauty that's out there.
exactly, and it's your expression. That's what we
Yes.
talk about. We try to express things from the heart, as we're hoping that other people will like it. If not, that I'll be satisfied with it, because that's how I'm relating.
That's right.
Trying to relate to others, or at least myself, and feel like I've accomplished a painting, whether it's stick men or a
Yes.
landscape of the Grand Canyon or whatever.
I like
So-
to teach children too, because,
I see.
you know, and they do their own thing.
Oh,
You know, you just kind of present it to them, and they go on and do. And I've learned from them. You know, you learn a little few things, you know, that you didn't even think about.
that come naturally, maybe.
Yes, yes.
Well, Anita, understand that those classes are offered in many areas of arts and crafts. So please share with us, if you can, go down the line, if you would say, and give us an idea of what classes are offered and who your target clientele might be. You mentioned children and other adults. You also, I know you're in a community where you have the Mennonite faith, and those people seem to be very artistic.
They are.
And I'm wondering if you reach out to them, because this is right, Barnett is right in the middle of farmland, and you're thinking, what is a gallery or an art cottage, what Painters at Heart building, what's it doing out here in the middle of the country? So if you stop and think about it, there's many people of all different talents and what have you that are interested. So you do probably relate to a vast majority of clientele, or so who is your target?
Well, I don't know that I just target to anyone that's interested, but, you know, I've had Mennonites in my painting classes over the years,
Yes.
and I know some of them that are really talented,
Yes.
that don't need to come to me, you know,
Exactly.
but they're very talented in their own right. And, I've taught at school when I was a para to special needs for 10 years, and the last few years I helped some of the younger students learn the joy of art, and I still continue to do some of that, and I like to have, we have advanced painting classes. We have some that are just beginning, you know, and a lot of it is scheduled, you know, if they want to paint.
Right.
Then we go ahead, but usually Monday morning and Saturday mornings is kind of a free open class. You just have to call and let me know you want to paint.
Right. And you said call. How do they reach you to find out what's going on? Do you have a mail out or a website?
I have a telephone number, and it's
Okay.
573-216-9729. And I'm on Facebook. At least my granddaughter has me on Facebook. And she tells me if anyone wants to get a hold of me.
And what's your Facebook contact?
Painters at Heart,
Painters at
or
Heart.
just or Anita Rogers.
Or
You
Anita
know, either
Rogers.
one.
Excellent. So you're not really targeting. It's open to whoever wants
That's
to
right.
give it a try. And I think those that want to start out should be encouraged. I think Mrs. Rogers is a perfect person if you want to get started and find out a little bit of what you might have stored away within the brush, into the brush that you're holding. I think Mrs. Rogers is going to be one to turn to. And it's in a very relaxed, small community. It's just worth the drive to different times of the year just to travel to Barnett and visit with her and find out. So we'll get that telephone number and Facebook on the timeline. Well, now, how would you, I guess to travel, it's best to go 52 highway?
Yes, I would think so. That's the main line through. I mean, you can come through the country, but probably if you really don't know the area, you definitely want to go.
Pick 52 up from Eldon, or if you're coming from the
Versailles.
west, from Versailles, 52. Excellent. Well, I think we should note that Painters of the Heart is one of the most remote and outside of the larger city, and does offer that atmosphere, setting in a small country home, as you'll see in the photos that we provide. So the hours of operation is best to probably call.
It is, because we
point.
try to have a regular schedule, but it doesn't seem like it works all the time.
I see.
So best if you want to call, especially if you're traveling, to make
call
sure that
first.
they're,
Excellent.
and sometimes I'm a mile away from the shop. I can run there from home if somebody calls and lets me know they want to be.
So you can, at about any time,
Yes.
you can accommodate. Hey, I'm coming your way. I'd like to talk about this or that. You'll most likely hop in the car or the buggy and
That's right.
head down to
Or the bright red truck. Everybody
bright
knows
red
if the
truck,
bright red truck's there, I'm there.
Excellent. Well, now let's talk about some of these paintings and this craft work and artwork that we're putting on the timeline. Can you describe some of your favorite projects that that you provided to me? So
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I've been painting on the wine bottles or the different shaped bottles for 15 years. And somebody just came and wanted me to paint something on some bottles, and I thought, oh, I really am enjoying this. And I took it to the craft shows, and every year I sell more than I did the year before. And I thought, this has got to die, because crafts kind of go in cycles.
Yes.
And so, I probably got 20 cases of bottles stashed here and there and everywhere. And probably got another 300 in the barn.
Oh, I see.
My husband would love for me to get rid of. But, we, just paint them
Now,
up.
once you paint them, as we see here,
I put lights in them.
you put lights in them. How about a candle? Do we?
Well, there's some you can put, you can use the batteries, you can use the electric, you can put candles in them.
And
It
they
just
flash
depends.
on and off.
Oh, yeah,
And
you can
we
do.
have a scene on the front, as
Oh,
you
yes.
see here by the photos. And then, you have art on the wall. What's some of your favorite paintings we're taking a look at?
Well, used to, I was basically into scenery. And then I've gone to animals, and it's just, I kind of go in there. For a long time I was painting birds.
Yes.
Then I would go to cats. I can't paint a cat, like a lion, leopard, or anything, because my daughter takes every one of those. I mean, it doesn't stay. I've got one leopard, I guess a Bengal tiger in my family room, and they're all fighting over that one right now. But I said, no, it matches my furniture. I'm keeping it. But then I've done a few portraits, and right now I'm doing a lady on a horse for a certain person.
I see. So you do take commission
Oh,
work
yes, I do a
also.
lot
We
of
want to mention
commission.
that.
And a lady brought 2 photos from her vacation of sceneries, and I've already painted them up for her, and really enjoyed it. Even asked her if I could teach them, because they were real interesting. And so I like new adventures.
Yes.
Something new comes up, then I've got to try it.
Try a new flavor.
Yes.
Oh, I see horses.
And if you see 5 or 6 different paintings that look the same but different colors and stuff, I've taught it.
Yes,
If it's
I
on the
see.
wall and,
Oh.
and I may have sold a few of them, but you can almost tell that it was a class, if there's like 3 or 4 of them.
Instructive painting that you
Yes.
use for instruction. I see angels. I see horses, people riding horses.
Yes.
The animals. I see some almost cartoon-looking figurative things. I don't know what you call them.
Yeah, animals, no, you know, anything that just hits I don't know. I do get tired of just doing the same thing over and over again.
Well, do you have a favorite then? And tell
Well,
us a story of your favorite.
Mine is florals, but florals do not sell.
I see.
And I can't get it. A lot of the students don't want to paint florals for some reason.
Right.
It must be in the dumps right now, you know what I mean?
Yes,
And in a few years, it'll be back up.
Right.
But I love to do roses.
Oh,
I love to paint roses and irises and that type of thing.
Well,
But I don't paint as many as I used to because everybody
just
not interested.
Well, I guess global warming will take care of that. When
I
there's no more
guess.
flowers, you'll be there with a paintbrush.
Yes. Now the most popular flower I think is an iris.
Yes, I love iris.
Yes, and I think it's if you want to sell one, an iris would be the one you
iris.
want to paint.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Anita, we're just about out of time. So on behalf of JCTV Access, Mid-Missouri Art News, I want to thank you for being my guest today, making it a learning experience, an informational experience for all. We've been looking at this for this visit at the round table for the last about 8-9 months. So
Yes.
Finally it's come about. So I want to thank you so much. And I want to remind people that as an artist, you finally reach your certain goals or certain levels. I wanted to share with you that I've been recently invited to Tuscany, Italy for a 10-day visit where I paint a painting and it goes up for sale with many other artists from all over the world that they invite to this 16th century cottage-like and now made into a restaurant and gallery. So I'm looking hopefully to a visit for 10 days in Tuscany, Italy to display some of my artwork and then paint a painting hopefully within that 10 days. So opportunities do open, but you have a great opportunity to go visit Mrs. Rogers in Barnett, Missouri. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. I want to thank JCTV, producer Gloria Enlow and the crew. And thank you, our viewers, for watching worldwide. Thanks to YouTube. I'm Rick Jey saying, look for more Mid-Missouri Art News right here at JCTV. See you next time.